بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم محمد رسول الله والذين معه أشداء على الكفار رحماء بينهم تراهم ركعا سجدا يبتغون فضلا من الله ورضوانا سيماهم في وجوههم من أثر السجود.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله آل الله من الآن إلى لقاء يوم رحمة الله. أما بعد، فقال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن الكريم: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم واعبدوا الله ولا تشركوا به شيئا وبالوالدين إحسانا وبذي القربى واليتامى والمساكين والجار ذي القربى والجار الجنب والصاحب بالجنب وابن السبيل. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As I told you in the previous lecture, the topic which is I'm going to talk about is about the treatment with the neighbors according to the sera of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. Actually, in previous lecture, I discussed about the importance of the subject through the Holy Quran and also through the hadith from the prophets, peace be upon him. And also I talked about the kinds and types of the neighbors. In this lecture, I would like to tell you about the blaming of those who torture and harm their neighbors. In the second, I will talk about the rights of the neighbors upon us. What are their right? And also I would like to talk some stories from the life of the Holy Prophet about the treatment with the neighbors according to the sera of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. Now the first thing is this, that actually those who torture their neighbors, so they are blamed in the hadiths. And now I would like to give you some of those hadiths which came from the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. One of the things which our Prophet said is this, that a person who is a neighbor and he tortures and harms his neighbor, of course he is backbreaker. Our Prophet said that ta'awwadhu billahi min thalath fawaqir jaru su'in in ra'a khayran katamahu wa in ra'a sharran adha'ahu. This hadith means that our Prophet said, take refuge in Allah, ta'awwazu, take refuge in Allah from three types of the people, that they are backbreaker. Among them, our Prophet said, Jaru su'in, one of them are those who are the bad neighbors. in ra'a khayran katamahu. This kind of neighbor, it is their habit. Whenever they see the good things, then they hide it. وَإِنْ رَأَى شَرًّا أَذَاعَهُ. In this bad neighbor, whenever they see the bad thing from the neighbors, then they propagate it, they spread it among the people, and they inform all the people. It is the habit of the bad neighbor. Now you see, in the beginning of this hadith, our Prophet said, ta'awwadhu. What does ta'awwadhu mean? Ta'awwadhu billahi. It means take refuge in Allah. So we also say, a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. It means that we should take refuge in Allah from the hand of the Satan. And the same is the case with those who are bad neighbors. They are also like Satan, that we should take refuge by Allah, with Allah because of them. The second hadith, which came again from our Prophet, peace be upon him, he says that you know that all of the people pray that Almighty Allah bestow His blessing upon us. But a person who torture and harm his neighbor, he is away from the blessing of Almighty Allah. Our Prophet said, إِثْنَانِ لَا يَنْظُرُ اللَّهُ إِلَيْهِمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. Two groups of the people are those that Almighty Allah will not look to them in the hereafter. قَاطِعَ الرَّحِمِ. One of those groups are those that they cut their relations with their relatives. وَجَارَ السُّوءِ. And the second group are those that they are neighbors, but bad neighbors. They are not good neighbors. So Almighty Allah will not have blessing, will not bestow His blessing upon these kind of the people, that they are bad neighbor. The third hadith is this, that our Prophet said, those who torture their neighbor, so of course they cannot be mu'min, they cannot be believer, they cannot be Muslim. And it is the hadith that come from our Prophet, who says, لَيْسَ الْمُؤْمِنِ الَّذِي لَا يَأْمَنُ جَارَهُ بَوَائِقَهُ. Those who torture their neighbors, those whose neighbors are not safe and they are unsafe, so we cannot say that they are mu'min. Mu'min is not like this. The fourth hadith, which came again from the Holy Prophet, he says that those who torture the neighbors, they will be deprived of the paradise, deprived of the Jannah. They will not be entered in the Jannah, in the paradise, in the heaven. Our Prophet said, لا يدخل الجنة عبد لا يأمن جاره بوائقه. Those people who torture and harm their neighbors, they will not enter in the heaven, they will not enter in the paradise, they will not enter in the Jannat. لا يدخل الجنة.
يا حبيب الله يا نبي الله يا رسول الله يا رسول الله.
There is a story, that this story is narrated from our fifth Imam, Imam Baqir alayhi salam. He says that in the time of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, one day a person came to the Prophet and complained from his neighbor and said that my neighbor is a bad neighbor, that he is torturing me and he is harming me. So then our Prophet said to this person that wait. Then again he went and came back, and again he complained from his neighbor. Our Prophet again said, go and wait. For the third time when he came, our Prophet told him that in the Friday, when the people decide to come out for Friday prayer, so you should take all of your property, all of your things from the house, and you should get them out and put beside the people. Let the people look upon them, and if they ask, then you should answer that yes, I got out all my furnitures, all my properties because of torturing my neighbor. Then this man did the same. When the Friday prayer became near, and that Friday he took all his property out of his house, and then the people came and asked from him. He said that because of torturing this man who is torturing me and he is my neighbor, I got all my properties out of my house. Then that man informed, and he came and he said, for the sake of Almighty Allah, you took all of your properties back to your house, and I will not torture you after this. So it is a very bad habit that our neighbor harm us and we harm our neighbor. It is not a good habit. Now let me talk about the rights of the neighbors. As I told you, there are three types of the neighbors, but even the neighbor who has one right, and that is unbeliever, non-Muslim neighbor, again he has these rights that I will talk about these things, and I will recite these rights through the hadiths and narrations of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. Our Prophet said, it is your duty, it is your right that you should respect your neighbor. It is the right of the neighbor to be respected. It is the hadith from the Prophet who says, Man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhiri falyukrim jarahu. Those who claims and says that they believe upon Almighty Allah and they believe in the hereafter, so they should respect their neighbors. The second right is this, that we should not torture our neighbors, as it is a hadith from our Prophet, and repeatedly I recited this hadith. لَيْسَ الْمُؤْمِنُ الَّذِي لَا يَأْمَنُ جَارَهُ بَوَائِقَهُ. Those who torture their neighbors, they cannot be named mu'min, they cannot be named Muslim, they are non-Muslim. The third thing is this, that whatever we wish for ourselves, we should wish for our neighbors. Our Prophet said, أَحِبُّ لِلنَّاسِ مَا تُحِبُّونَ لِأَنفُسِكُمْ. Wish and like for the people what you like for yourselves. أَمَا يَسْتَحْيِ الرَّجُلُ مِنْكُمْ أَنْ يَعْرِفَ جَارَهُ حَقَّهُ وَلَا يَعْرِفُ حَقَّ جَارِهِ. A person should feel shy as the others know his rights, but he does not know the right of his neighbors. أَمَا يَسْتَحْيِ الرَّجُلُ منكم أن يعرف جاره حقه. His neighbor knows his right, but he does not know the right of his neighbors. So we should understand it. And the fourth thing is this, that we should get this information from the situation of our neighbors. It is again a saying from the Holy Prophet who says, ما آمن بي من بات شبعان وجاره جائع. The Holy Prophet said that man is not from me, and he did not believe upon me, as he sleeps with full stomach while his neighbor is hungry and he does not have anything to eat. So he cannot say that he believed upon the Prophet and he believed upon Almighty Allah. And the fifth thing, which is the rights of the neighbor, is this, that we should help him. In a very long hadiths from the Holy Prophet, there came a collection of the rights that our Prophet said that these are the rights that the neighbor has upon the neighbor. Our Prophet said, أَتَدْرُونَ مَا حَقَّ الْجَارِ. There are many people were sitting around the Holy Prophet. Our Prophet addressed them, أَتَدْرُونَ مَا حَقَّ الْجَارِ. Do you know what are the rights of the neighbors? Then our Prophet continued and said those rights which are very important that we should understand it at first, and then in the second we should put these rights on the practice, and we should practically use these rights, and we should respect our neighbors. Our Prophet said, إِنِ اسْتَعَانَ بِكَ أَعَنْتَهُ. If your neighbor ask help from you, you should help him, you should cooperate with him. It is one of the right. The second right which our Prophet said is this, وَإِنْ إِسْتَقْرَضَكَ أَقْرَضْتَهُ. If he ask land from you, so you should borrow him, you should give the money to him if he asks you qarz, if he asks you a loan. وَإِنِ افْتَقَرَ عُدْتَ عَلَيْهِ. If he becomes poor and he does not have anything, so it is your duty that you should help him, you should cooperate him. وَإِن مَرِضَ عُدْتَهُ. If he becomes sick and ill, so you should go for visiting him. وَإِن مَاتَ اتَّبَعْتَ جَنَازَتَهُ. If he dies, then it is your duty that you should share in his funeral. وَإِن أَصَابَهُ خَيْرٌ هَنَّأْتَهُ. If any good things happen with your neighbor, so it is your duty that you should congratulate him. وَإِنْ أَصَابَتْهُ مُصِيبَةٌ عَزَّيْتَهُ. And if bad thing happened to him, then it is your duty to condole him, and you should say that I'm very sorry as this thing happened to you. وَلَا تَسْتَطِلْ عَلَيْهِ بِالْبَنَاءِ. Some of the people, it is their habit, as they have a lot of money, so they make a building with many stories for himself, and he do not think about their neighbor. While our Prophet said, وَلَا تَسْتَطِلْ عَلَيْهِ بِالْبِنَاءِ. You should not make a very high building with many stories. فَتَحْجُبَ عَنْهُ الرِّيحَ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِهِ. Then the wind will not come in your house, or the sun will not have any shine on your house. So in some of the countries, in some of the areas, it is very important, wind is important, the sunshine is very important. So if our neighbor, he makes a building with many stories, then of course the neighbor will be deprived of these blessing of Almighty Allah, the sunshine and the wind. Yes, if your neighbor allow you to make this kind of the building, so you can, otherwise you cannot. وَإِذَا اشْتَرَيْتَ فَاكِهَةً فَأَهْدِ لَهُ. When you buy fruit for your house, for your family, for your children, then give from this fruit to your neighbors. فَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلْ فَأَدْخِلْهَا سِرًّا. If you do not want to give from your fruit that you have bought it from the bazaar to your neighbor, then it is your duty that you should secretly enter this fruit in your house, in your family, and secretly you should take it in your house. وَلَا يَخْرُجْ بِهَا وَلَدُكَ لِيَغِيظَ بِهِ وَلَدَهُ. And you do not have this right that when you buy some fruits and give these fruits in the hand of your child, and your child goes outside of the house with this fruit, while the neighbor's children, they can see it and they do not have that ability to buy it. وَلَا تُؤْذِهِ بِقَطَارِ قِدْرِكَ إِلَّا أَن تَغْرِفَ لَهُ مِنْهَا. You do not have this right to cook a very delicious food while you decide to eat it alone. Yes, if you want to give some of this food to your neighbor, you can, otherwise you cannot, and it is one of the right of your neighbor.
Sallallahu ala Muhammad, sallallahu ala Nabi, sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala ali Nabi.
أتدرون ما حق الجار. Then again our Prophet said, do you know what are the rights of the children upon you, the rights of the neighbors upon you? وَالَّذِي نَفْسِي بِيَدِهِ لَا يَبْلُغُ حَقَّ الْجَارِ إِلَّا مَنْ رَحِمَهُ اللَّهِ. I swear by Almighty Allah, as my soul is in His hand, that no one can know and can do the rights of and can fulfill the rights of the neighbors except Almighty Allah bestow from His mercy. فَمَا زَالَ يُوصِيهِمْ بِالْجَارِ. Then our Prophet said, continuously the Almighty Allah through the Jibreel, He came upon me and He advised about the rights of the neighbors حتى ظنوا أنه سيورثه, till I thought that maybe my neighbor also will take from my heritage. It is a golden saying from the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, about this important matter. And again there is a very golden saying from Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, who says, وَإِنَّ حَقَّ جَارَكَ. Do you know what are the rights of your neighbors upon you? He says that these are your duties toward your neighbors. And he says, فَحِفْظَهُ غَائِبًا وَإِكْرَامُهُ شَاهِدًا. And it is one of the things that he says, protect his interests when he is absent, show him respect when he is present. When he is present, it is your duty that you should respect him. نصرته إذا كان مظلوما. When he is needy and he needs to be cooperated, to be helped, and he is oppressed, so you should help him. ولا تتبع له عورة فإن علمت عليه سوءا سترته عليه. And again our Imam Sajjad says that do not remain on lookout to detect his faults. You should not go to find the faults of your neighbors. And if you suddenly, without any intention, if you could find any fault from your neighbors, then it is your duty, satartahu alay. You should hide it and you should not spread it among the people. وَإِنْ عَلِمْتَ أَنَّهُ يَقْبَلُ نَصِيحَتَكَ نَصَحْتَهُ. And if you think that your neighbor can accept your advice, then go to him and talk with him and advise him if he needs advice. And if he commits any mistake, so it is your duty that you should forgive him. وَتَغْفِرْ ذَنْبَهُ. In one word, you should trade with your neighbor in a very kind manner. وَتُعَاشِرْهُ مُعَاشَرَةً كَرِيمًا. It means that in a very gentleman, in a very gentle way, you should trade with your neighbors. These are the sayings which our Imam Sajjad said about the rights of the neighbors, which are very important, and it is our duty that we should understand these things at first, and then we should put these things in practice. By the help of Almighty Allah, God willing, we will continue our discussions, and there remain some benefits that we can get from good treatment with the neighbors, and also some of the very important stories from the life of the Holy Prophet about these matters. And these two things will be discussed inshallah in next lecture, and I hope that you could use from this golden saying which were from the saying of our Prophet, and also the golden hadiths from the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. Thank you very much as you have followed this program, and we will continue. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
اللهم احملنا في سفن نجاتك ومتعنا بلذيذ مناجاتك وأوردنا حياض حبك وأذقنا حلاوة ودك وقربك واجعل جهادنا فيك وهمنا في طاعتك وأخلص نياتنا في معاملتك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.